Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown on the MHRT Network. This is a show that is everything Broncos and brought to you with emotion, passion, honesty, and of course, my comments. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, thanks so much for being on the show, being in the chat, with your comments and all that. I really do appreciate each and every one of you each and every week. So let's get right into it. I got a whole lot of different topics. A lot of it is not good. When the Broncos are 1-5, I can't really bring you a whole lot of good stuff. I mean, what am I gonna tell you? That we're not as bad as last year? Oh, yes, we are as bad as last year. In fact, we're worse. Last year, after 6 games, Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos were 2-4. This year, under Sean Payton, who's supposed to fix Russell Wilson and everything else, we're 1-5. So what's the better team? Last year, when under Hackett, when we all thought this guy's a joke, or is it Sean Payton? Let me get into some of this, okay? Because this is going down a very, very, very bad road. Very bad road. It's spiraling downhill fast. And there's one person on the Broncos organization that is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. No, it's not Russell Wilson. It may not be Patrick Surtain or Justin Simmons. The one person who's not going anywhere is Sean Payton. Sean Payton is not going anywhere. They did not hire Sean Payton and give up all that draft choices and all of that to just have him for 1 year. But wait a minute. Does that mean that Russell Wilson is a possible casualty? Well, if that's the case, we gave up a ton of stuff to get Russell Wilson. So even though Russell Wilson is on the hot seat, so to speak, because things are not getting any better on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, when you're only scoring 8 points against Kansas City, and the opportunities were there, just weren't, they just didn't manufacture. I don't know. That's on Sean Payton, in my opinion, and the offensive coordinator. Hold on, guys. Here we go. We're starting to show off with some very, very negative things coming out of Dove Valley. Here we go. Distaste for Payton. George Payton? Sean Payton. Here it is. Per inside information, the Broncos locker room is feeling that Sean Payton is losing his team. Multiple players have expressed distaste. Whoa. Distaste? Multiple players have expressed distaste for how Sean Payton operates the team and how and they have even called him a Vic 2.0. Oh my gosh. And that's in quotes. Vic 2.0. Holy smokes. We all know that when Vic Fangio ran that defense, he ran it with an iron fist, so to speak. And the players didn't like it. They didn't like that I don't know, putting your thumb down on it. I don't know any other expression. But yeah, they didn't like it. And apparently they're not liking Sean Payton's approach either. And this is all coming from inside people who want to remain anonymous, which I totally understand. They want to remain anonymous. And they are saying comments like this that are not good. Nobody's taking responsibility for saying this, but if they're calling if they're calling Sean Payton Vic 2.0, that's not good. That's not good at all, because the last thing you want is to lose your locker room. You lose your locker room, then what? The whole team just starts unraveling, just starts falling apart because you won't have a leader in your head coach. All right, I continue. On the same kind of topic, Garrett Bowles, who did come out and say, hey, I'll say it straight up. So here's what Garrett Bowles says. Sean Payton has basically put a lid on the internal strife. There it is. It's internal strife, and it's already starting, and we're only in week 6. You realize we have 2/3 of the season left, and there's already in-house strife. Maybe there was strife last year. We all know that there were players that were, that had Nathaniel Hackett's back. Russell Wilson was one of them that had Hackett's back. There were others for sure. There may be more. Apparently, not so much with Sean Payton. So this is absolutely this is a tailspin heading directly to the ground. Directly to the ground. Let me continue. Sean Payton has basically put a lid on the internal strife going public, but a few small snippets have slipped with often the Broncos. After the Broncos lost 19-8 to the Chiefs. Garrett Bowles said, and I quote, "We came up short." No kidding. We came up short. The bottom line is that we've got to get better. We've, meaning the team. We've got to get better. I personally have got to get better. Our players have to get better. And here it comes. And our coaches have to be better. End quote. Wow. Wow. Garrett Bowles is calling out the coaches. He didn't name them by name, but I don't think he has to. He's calling out the coaches, saying everybody on this team has to. I have to do better. The offense has to do better. The players have to do better, whatever. And then he says, and the coaches have to be better. Okay? He's totally correct. Absolutely 100% totally correct. The problem with that is he's calling out his coaches already. And he's on the offense, so he's probably calling out the offensive coordinator and Sean Payton because Sean Payton's calling the plays. And if Garrett Bowles feels like he's not being coached or put in the right position to do what he needs to do for the Broncos to be successful, he's he's shooting right across the bow of Sean Payton's boat or ship. And as he said, we got to ride the ship. We got to right the ship. Well, Garrett Bowles just shot a bullet right across the bow of Sean Payton's ship. What's going to happen next? I don't know. Garrett Bowles is slated to possibly be possibly be traded. But this doesn't help him all that much, does it? They're throwing barbs at the coaches. I mean, it's one thing to say, hey, us guys, we as players, we got to be better. I got to be better, and then call out some of your players that you think need to be better. Nope. Call out the coaches. That's a smart move. Well, you know what? It's frustration, guys. It's totally frustration. It's total frustration. These guys are frustrated. They don't like losing. Garrett Bowles said, and I mentioned it in a couple of shows previous, Garrett Bowles said that he's been on the Broncos, I think he said 7 years, 6 years, something like that, 6, 7 years. And he's never had a winning season. He's always been on a losing team. And he's tired of it. And he's frustrated. And he wants the Broncos to win. Does Garrett Bowles want out of Denver? I don't know. I have no idea of knowing that. None whatsoever. He hasn't expressed it. Not that I know of. But he wants to win. Now, if you're on a team that's constantly losing, wouldn't you want to go to some other team and win? Like the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Eagles? I mean, I'm just naming teams. Wouldn't you want to go? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, if he loves Denver and he loves the city and he loves the ownership and whatnot, I mean, maybe he doesn't want to go anywhere. I mean, I'll get into somebody later on in the Broncos who wants to spend his entire career in Denver, and he may be on the trade block, and he doesn't want to be. So I'm not saying that Garrett Bowles wants out of Denver, but he just wants to win, whatever that means. Whatever that means. And he's not saying he wants to trade, but he's not saying he doesn't. At least that's what I'm not hearing. I'm not hearing that at all. All right. Speaking of somebody in the organization who may not be here at the end of once the season's over, is none other than Russell Wilson. Wilson's future in Denver? Question mark. According to Broncos insiders, Russell Wilson's future in Denver could be over after the 2023 season. If the Broncos decide to move on, Wilson has another $37 million that becomes fully guaranteed on the 5th day of 2024's league year beginning. Wow. $37 million guaranteed be paid if the Broncos don't trade him or release him before the 5th day of the league year starting in March of 2024. Do the Broncos keep him? I don't know. I mentioned this in my show last week. If Russell Wilson plays great against Green Bay and somehow can beat Kansas City, and then right after that, right after our bye week in week 9, we go to Buffalo and somehow he beats Buffalo on Monday night in Buffalo, does Russell Wilson stay on the team? I don't know. It all depends. Is it a close game where the Broncos look like garbage and then somehow, some way, Russell Wilson ignites the offense and they come back and win it on a shootout against Green Bay? Well, you should beat Green Bay. They're only 2-3 record. I know we're 1-5 and Green Bay's favored by 1, but I'll get into that the last segment of the show. But in any case, what if the Broncos get blown out in Green Bay or at home against Green Bay? What if they get blown out against Kansas City? It's a possibility. Does Russell Wilson stay at the end of the year? Does he get benched? That's a possibility too. He could get benched. If the Broncos are 1-7 going into the bye, do you think Russell Wilson's really going to start against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo? Maybe. He's got more experience than Stidham. But at some point in time, Stidham's probably going to play if this Bronco derailment of a team is going way off track and you got nobody else to rely on but Stidham. Why not put him in? I mean, could it be any worse? People say, sure, they could be any worse. We could really lose big. Oh, really? Well, we lost 70-20 with Russell Wilson at quarterback. How can it get any worse than that, guys? Seriously. You really think that Stidham and the Broncos offense is going to only produce, well, they could produce, 20 points or less, but I don't see the defense with any of the teams remaining, except maybe Detroit, giving up, 70 points. I don't see that happening. I absolutely do not see that happening. No way, no way, no how. So if Stidham's in there, who cares? I mean, we've already lost 5 games. What's another 5? I mean, keep Russell Wilson in there and we end up losing the rest of the games and players get more and more frustrated because nothing's getting done. Sean Payton's not making changes. He's not trying to win games. There's been talk out there that he's silently throwing the season so he can get a good quarterback in the draft, which is obviously what he's going to go after as a quarterback. There's no doubt in my mind that's happening. No doubt in my mind. So is he secretly and silently throwing the season? Could be. Remember that playbook he had like this? Uh-huh. Yeah. Remember that? He says it's no big deal. I heard him, I read where he said, that's no big deal. We change stuff up all the time. We use different verbiage and, from game to game, depending on who we're playing against and blah, blah, blah. Is that smoke rings? Maybe. Is that blowing smoke up, the backside? Possibly. Is he trying to call our bluff? Who knows? Doesn't matter because we're not there to change anything. We're just fans. We just see things that we see and go, whoa, that doesn't look right. Sean Payton said, no big deal. Okay. No big deal because why? Because you want it to be no big deal or because you're silently and secretly throwing the season? And you're just giving out little signals and little hints here and there that we're not really trying real hard to win games. It may look like it. We're trying. We are trying to win. Okay. I mean, we're 1-5. And there's a whole lot of speculation out there as to what's really going on. I don't know any more than you guys know. I'm just being honest. I don't know. But sure looks strange to me. Some of the play calls, calling timeout on 4th down when he thought it was 3rd. Come on, man. You're a seasoned 15-year head coach and you're in your 16th season. You're not that stupid, Sean. You're really not. You play a mean poker game, that's for sure, because it sure looks like you're throwing in the towel. But I mean, seriously, delay of games because the play call's not coming in fast enough. That happened last year under Hackett. You know, and then you call fourth down on, timeout on fourth down. That was brilliant. And then going for it on 4th and 3 in your own 42-yard line or 46-yard line, 47, something like that. Still Bronco territory. Doesn't get it. Just saying. Just saying. It's looking an awful lot like not really in it to win it this year. Not really in it to win it. All right. Okay, I continue. Peyton was brought in to fix Wilson, but Russell hasn't been the solution with Sean Payton as head coach. Okay, maybe it's twofold, guys. All right, I've been thinking about this. Maybe it's twofold. Maybe Sean Payton doesn't want a Russell Wilson as a quarterback. That's a possibility, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, it's not his guy. Okay, first and foremost, it's not his guy. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. He wants to draft a quarterback that's his own guy or bring a person in that's his own guy. Everybody does it. Every head coach wants their own players, their own system, their own scheme. That's fine and dandy. I have no problem with that. The problem that I have with this is the money and the draft picks we gave up to get Russell Wilson, and then we extend his contract before he even took a snap as a Bronco quarterback. That's what bothers me. I mean, it's not my money to lose, but it's my team that is going downhill fast or spiraling downhill like a jet airline out of control or a train that's in derailment. That's what it's looking like. And that's exactly what it is. And the only way you fix it, in my opinion, is to either put all your eggs in one basket with Russell Wilson and do whatever you have to do to make it work and build around Russell Wilson, and not get rid of Russell Wilson to bring in a rookie quarterback in a draft to try and be your franchise quarterback. Now, if it does work out like it has with Patrick Mahomes, then great. Doesn't always work that way. Doesn't always work that way. Patrick Mahomes is one of a kind. Tom Brady was one of a kind. Peyton Manning the same way. John Elway the same way. One of a kind. Dan Marino, one of a kind. You don't find that every single day and every single draft. You don't. It's a crapshoot. It's a lottery. It's a, whatever, insert whatever adjective you want to. It's not a foreseen fact. It's not. Sometimes you get lucky like you did with Tom Brady and get him in the 6th round and boom, he's a superstar. Or you draft a Patrick Mahomes who's good and then he just becomes even better. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. Look at the draft picks the Broncos have had at quarterback. It hasn't worked. Is it because they're bad quarterbacks? Yes, sometimes it is. A lot of times it has to do with the head coach and the system and the scheme they want to work doesn't fit. That is the problem. So do the Broncos stick with Russell Wilson? Like I said, we'll find out. But I do know one thing is for sure. Sean Payton isn't sold on Russell Wilson because it's not his guy. Period. All right. Patrick Surtain, like I mentioned earlier, there's a guy on the Broncos, Garrett Bowles. I mean, like I said, I don't know if he's going to go anywhere else. I don't know if he wants to go to another team because he's tired of losing in Denver. I don't know. But there's one player that I do know that doesn't want to be traded, wants to finish his entire career in Denver. And here it is. Patrick Surtain's name has come up regarding a trade. However, Surtain said on DNVR, and I quote, "I want to remain in Denver for the duration of my NFL career. I plan on being here my whole career. That's how I want it to end up. I love this organization. I love this city." End quote. There you go, guys. Patrick Surtain has already put it out there. I don't want to be traded. Don't trade me. I'll be pissed, Don't trade me. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay here. Now, his dad mentioned that his son, Patrick Surtain II, is he's wasting away his career in Denver because the Broncos are losing. But yet his own son, Patrick Surtain II, says, I don't want to go anywhere. Basically saying, be quiet, Dad. I know where I want to be. I know what organization I want to play for. And I know what city I love. I want to stay in Denver, is what PS2 is saying. I want to stay in Denver my entire career. That's where I want it to end up. I don't want to go anywhere else. I love this organization. I love this city. I don't want to go anywhere. That's what PS2 is saying. I hope the Broncos are listening. And hold on, guys. I know it's a business. I know it's a business. But there's just something to be said about loyalty. And I don't like the fact that if a player says they want to stay on a team and that team is hell-bent on getting rid of them because they want the money or they want the not the player, but the organization wants the money, like in sometimes they'll trade for a draft choice and financial compensation. Sometimes they do that. Maybe they want the trade value because Surtain may draw, a very, very high trade, like a first or a second. I don't care if they gave him the moon. I don't want Surtain gone, period. I know it's a business, but it's so freaking frustrating that when you get key core players like Patrick Surtain or Justin Simmons or a Josie Jewell or Browning, you've got to build around those players. You have to. And yes, I'm naming defensive players because I'm talking about a defensive player. That's why I'm talking about the defensive side. Sure, we got cornerstone players on the offense in Jerry Jeudy. And I know people out there, some of you guys don't like Jerry Jeudy. Well, that's well and good. That's your thought. That's your feeling. That's your opinion. I don't want Jeudy gone. Why? Because he's a Denver Bronco wide receiver and he wears orange and blue. Period. He's a Broncos player. He's a good receiver. Same with Cortland Sutton. I don't want him gone either. Not at all. Just like when the Broncos got rid of Rod Smith and Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp went to Baltimore. I was pissed off. I was so ticked off. He had just won a Super Bowl with the Broncos and gave his Super Bowl ring to his brother Sterling, who couldn't play in the game against the Packers in Super Bowl 32 that Denver won 24-17 or 31-24. I'm sorry, 31-24. He gave it to his brother Sterling, and Sterling said, bro, you earn this. You keep it. He goes, no, man, I'll get another one. I'll get another one. Wow. Talk about, foreknowledge. Holy smokes. He didn't win one more. He won two more. Why? Because he won the very next year with Denver, Super Bowl 33. Then Denver gets rid of him. He goes to Baltimore and gets a Super Bowl in Baltimore. He's got three. Well, he gave one away, but he's got two rings out of the three that he's won. And I didn't like that move when he went to Baltimore. Why? Because he's a Denver freaking Bronco. He wears orange and blue, not purple. Doesn't wear purple. He wears orange and blue. That's why he went in the Hall of Fame as a Denver Bronco. And the Broncos brought him back so he could sign that one-day contract so he could go in as a Denver Bronco. My point being is this. I don't want Jerry Jeudy gone. What if Jerry Jeudy goes to another team and lights it up? Oh, like Gregory did in 49ers where he had a really good game last week. Yeah, that was smart. That was smart, getting rid of Gregory. Why? Because it's a different scheme they're running. It fits what Gregory's doing. And if Sean Payton and George Payton say, yeah, we got to get rid of Jerry Jeudy because the scheme we're trying to run doesn't fit him, or he doesn't fit the scheme, or whatever, or Cortland Sutton, or whomever it will be. That bothers me. Change the freaking system. Adapt to what these players are doing and how they perform. Why do they have to go into your mold? You're the head coach. You need to teach these players how to be better. Plain and simple. That's called coaching. You take a player who doesn't quite understand what you're trying to do and you mold him into what you do. You just don't get rid of him. Oh, well, we'll just get somebody else. I mean, why stick with somebody that ain't working? Well, guess what? You're not working because you're trying to mold somebody into your system instead of adapting to what their best attributes are. You're trying to put them into your mold instead of you trying to adapt to what their strengths are. That's the problem that I have. I don't want a Jerry Jeudy gone. I don't want a Patrick Surtain gone. Not at all. And if Patrick Surtain wants to stay in Denver, Colorado on the Denver Broncos, why not accommodate him? He's the best corner in the entire NFL. So Broncos, are you trying to tell me, Sean Payton and George Payton, are you trying to tell me that if you trade Patrick Surtain the second, you're not going to have a problem with that? Oh, well, what if you get a first-round draft choice? Oh, is that worth it? Then what? Then you have a rookie quarterback, and because you don't have Russell Wilson anymore, because apparently he might be gone at the end of 2023. So now you got a rookie quarterback. You got Stidham as the interim quarterback that will be there. And maybe somebody else if they go in another trade. So what does that benefit you? Patrick Surtain goes to another team, lights it up, becomes all-pro, and you just got rid of that because you were greedy and won a first-round or second-round draft pick. Stupid. Absolutely stupid to get rid of the best corner in the entire NFL. I'm dumbfounded, guys. I'm dumbfounded. I'm not saying Patrick Surtain's gone. He's not gone. I'm saying the what if. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. I'm saying the what if. You need cornerstones. You need the best corner in the entire league to be on the Denver Broncos and keep Patrick Surtain the second. Justin Simmons, in my opinion, the best safety in the league. You don't get rid of him either. Plain and simple. Those two cornerstones you don't get rid of. Why? Because Patrick Surtain's a shutdown corner, and all Justin Simmons has to worry about is the corner on the opposite side of Surtain. Period. That's all he's got to worry about. Plain and simple. Yes, there are plays where Surtain's gotten burned and Justin Simmons gotten burned. That's going to happen from time to time. But it's not a norm. It's not the norm. You keep players that are the best players on your team. Period. Absolutely do not trade either one of them. And if the Broncos trade Patrick Surtain and or Justin Simmons or both, I'm going to be one very ticked off guy the following show that I do, because that is going to be, I'm going to be spitting nails, guys. If we throw in the towel that drastically and get rid of Surtain and Justin Simmons, I am going to be one very, very pissed off guy. And you're going to see it on that show if and when that happens. And I'm hoping to heck it doesn't happen. All right. Speaking of moves, could this be something in the works? Could Rex Ryan take over for Vance Joseph? Why would that come up now? Rex Ryan had the opportunity. He interviewed and had the opportunity to be the Broncos defensive coordinator, but apparently he turned it down because he said for some other reason something wasn't met. I don't know the circumstances behind it, but it was turned down. I don't know if it's turned down by him or if it was on the Broncos side. I'm not sure. But in any case, Rex Ryan wasn't chosen as a defensive corner. That went to Vance Joseph. So, question is, could Rex Ryan take over for Vance Joseph? All right, let me get into that. According to Pat McAfee from ESPN, McAfee says, and I quote, "There are rumors that Rex will soon take over as defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos," end quote. Wow. Where's that coming from? I mean, I wouldn't mind at this point. I wouldn't mind one bit. Again, how can it be any worse? When you give up 70 points to a Miami Dolphins team or any team for that matter, you're not long to be the defensive coordinator, that's for sure. I continue. Pat said this is stuff he's hearing from around the league, not from ESPN. So he's hearing it from around the league. What does that mean? Who's he hearing it from? And not only if he's around the league, but word travels fast. Word travels fast amongst people, amongst hot item topics, especially amongst a train derailment like the Broncos. I mean, they're going to be talking like crazy. If Rex Ryan comes to Denver as a defensive coordinator, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem one bit. I'm just wondering, being a former head coach, though, well, Vance Joseph, former head coach, I guess you want to, but Rex Ryan was a long time former head coach. And I'm just kind of wondering how he would get along with Sean Payton. It's going to be a little struggle there. But in any case, I have no problem with Rex Ryan coming over. Absolutely none. I mean, like I said, what could be worse? Lose 2 more games, 3 more games, 4 more games, 6, 10 more games. I mean, who knows? Doesn't matter. I mean, we're losing those games anyways with Vance Joseph. And yes, the defense was better against the Chiefs last week. I get that, but we still lost. And that was an offensive problem, not a defensive problem. But there were mistakes. There were key mistakes on the offense. There were penalties on defense that allowed Kansas City to go down, albeit they only got 1 touchdown and they got 4 field goals. But hey, when you lose, you lose. And if you only can score 8, and then you got a fumble at the end of the game or, a penalty here and there, I mean, you still lose. So I don't know. Is Rex Ryan going to come to Denver? That would be interesting, man. That would be freaking interesting. That absolutely, to say the least. Yeah, that would be interesting. All right. Now, let's get into back-to-back. Yep, you got it, guys. Back-to-back jackass of the week. All right. Let's start out with the lesser of the two. The only reason why I say lesser of the two is because the second one is a little bit more aggressive, I should say. A little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit worse. All right, here we go. Once again, Antonio Brown is back as the jackass of the week. Brown was reportedly taken into custody outside his home in Dana Beach after he entered a taxi. I thought he had money. After all, why was he arrested? I'll tell you why. He was arrested because he allegedly owes his ex $31,000 in unpaid child support. There you go. Well, that's why he got in a taxi. Because ain't got no money, I guess. Ain't got no money to have a limo take him. Drive his own Bentley or whatever it is. He's in a freaking taxi? Really? Guess he doesn't have any money. He owes her $31,000 apparently. He was arrested for unpaid child support. They don't mess around when you owe a child money and you were responsible for that child to bring that child into the world. Help bring that. No, I wouldn't say create. God creates them, but, to produce a child and bring that child into the world, you are responsible as a human being. And when you don't live up to that responsibility, guess what? They come tapping at your door and go, hello, you owe $31,000 to your ex. Well, I ain't got no money. I don't have no. Yeah, you do, Antonio. You got money. You just don't want to pay it. He was arrested before when he owed like $36,000 to her. And then he paid that before he was arrested. I mean, it's just, I don't get these guys. I don't understand these guys. They're not above the law. How many times I got to keep bringing the Antonio Brown up and down in the jackass of the week? I don't make it up. It's out there. Go look for it. It's out there. I'm not making it up. He's the one that keeps doing the stupid moves. I just have to bring it to my show because he's that stupid. The jackass of the week. And the month and the year and the year before that. Yeah. Antonio Brown constantly makes this show. Well, I wouldn't say he makes the show, but he makes it on this show as the jackass of the week. All right. Now, jackass of the week, part 2. Here it is. Last Tuesday, former Raiders player Chandler Jones was arrested, according to the Las Vegas Journal. He was reportedly taken in around 1:15 p.m. on a charge of violating a domestic temporary protection order. All right. Well, it doesn't matter if it's temporary or not. It's still a violation of violating a domestic protection order, whether it's temporary or not. Doesn't matter. He violated. I continue. The details are unclear beyond that point. He allegedly violated the order by visiting his ex's home on September 28th, getting naked in his and her own backyard while burning items from her backyard and her property. What? So you're going to go and violate your protection order, or the protection order against him. He's going to her house, goes into the backyard, strips down and goes butt naked, and then begins burning her items. What, is he still naked? What the heck? I mean, these guys are beyond twisted, man. I mean, twisted. Okay, guys. Let me just throw this out there. Some people are going to say, it's that CTE. Could be. It could be CTE. I'm not saying it's not. What I am saying is they're acting extremely strange, man. Extremely. Who goes in their own backyard? Well, in this case, her backyard. Who goes into somebody else's backyard, whether it's your ex? Let's just say go back into your ex's backyard, strip down butt naked for the entire world to see, or if you got a drone up there for sure, and then starts burning items that are hers in the backyard. Still naked? Well, didn't say he dressed. I wouldn't. Why would he go naked and then burn stuff and then get dressed? I mean, just these guys are just bizarrely weird, just strangely weird, man. I mean, they're just out there, totally out there. I continue. He was released on $15,000 bail, and he was released from the team the very next day. Well, I sure the heck hope so. My gosh, man. What is wrong with these people? What is absolutely wrong with these people? Wow. I know I can honestly say I've never done that. I mean, I've never done it. Have any of you guys out there ever done it? Because I know heck I haven't done it. I mean, I don't even go in my own backyard naked. Seriously. I mean, these guys are just out there in left freaking field. Big time. All right. This is a strange. And I only say it's strange because it doesn't make sense to me. Okay. Here it comes. The NFL brass are discussing a future Super Bowl being played in London. Well, I know there's 3 games there in London this year, maybe 4. I know there's at least 3 that have been played in London. London's a big draw. I understand that, but they're also British. They're across the pond in England. It's not a football in America. It's football in England for 3 or 4 games a year. That's it. Okay? The teams that need to play in the Super Bowl need to play in the United States of America. Period. It's our sport. It's our game. It's our teams and our cities and our states. It's not. We're not the London Monarchs. We're not the London whatever. We're not. You don't see London coming over here and playing their match. I mean, yes, soccer's all over. I get it, and we did. But the World Cup, I don't think the World Cup's ever been in the United States. And if it's the World Cup, it's not England. It's the World Cup. It's all countries. That can be anywhere because it involves all countries. The NFL only involves one country, the United States of America, period. Okay? Plain and simple. United States of America. Now, baseball branches out to Canada with the Toronto Blue Jays. That's it. They used to have the Montreal Expos, and they used to have the did they ever have Vancouver? I don't think so. I think it was just Montreal and Toronto. That's it. They only have Toronto now. So when they do a World Series, yes, they can have a World Series in Toronto if Toronto's in it. But if Toronto's not in, they ain't having a World Series there. Period. It doesn't go outside the country of what the origin is. The NFL should not be going to London for a freaking Super Bowl. That's the granddaddy of all of the NFL awards. It's the Super freaking Bowl. It is what you play for. That Lombardi trophy, the ring, the fame, the glory, to say that you are the best in the world at that particular year. Look behind me, guys. Super Bowl 50 right there was played in Santa Clara. Why? Because it's in America. That game wasn't played in London. Thank goodness. It was played in Santa Clara with our own fans in attendance. Plain and simple. I personally don't want it going to London. People say, oh, it'd be great for the sport. Look at all the stuff that's going. Yeah, it'd be great for England. They're the one that's benefiting from it. They would get all the revenue, all the money, because it's in their stadium. The NFL will get a cut. Don't kid yourself. Of course, they'll get a big chunk of it. I'm talking about the concessions. That would go to London or England. London. So would the parking. That would go to London. So would the some of the ticket sales, some of the merchandise sales, all of this stuff, the NFL experience. Come on, man. The NFL's doing this because they want to expand, and I get that, but not with the freaking Super Bowl. They're already expanding with games being played and the revenue that London is generating from the games being played there. I don't want the Super Bowl, the biggest game on the stage in all of NFL. I don't want it outside this country. None whatsoever. I don't want it, period. It's not their freaking sport. It's ours. And it should stay in America. I continue. Roger Goodell said, and I quote, "It is not impossible, and it's something that has been discussed before. The next 3 Super Bowls have already been scheduled as follows," and I quote, "Las Vegas this February 24th, this February 2024, New Orleans February 2025, and Santa Clara, back here at the same spot where Denver was, Santa Clara February in 2026. Goodell goes on to say, and I quote, "I think it's not out of the question, but as of right now, things will stay the same with cities that have franchises to host the Super Bowl," end quote. That's the way it should be. It should not be going to London. Should not be going to Mexico City. Should not be going to, anywhere else outside the United States. It is America's sport, America's championship, America's teams, cities, and states. It needs to stay here. I'm absolutely concrete, dogmatic on this. I don't want it going to London. Because here's another point I don't want going to London. When do they play the doggone games? When do they play the games we're watching now? That's right. Afternoon, their time. They're 8 hours ahead of the Pacific time zone. That means that the game kicks off at 1 p.m. in London. The game will be shown live on the Pacific coast where I reside at 5 in the freaking morning. No, 4 in the morning. At 4 in the morning. 7, 6, 5. 5 in the morning. Yeah, 5 in the morning. Still, it's early. I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch a Super Bowl game if the Broncos are in it. And then people say, well, they wouldn't start until 4 in the afternoon their time. Okay, 4 in the afternoon their time. Let's see. 4, that would be 10. That'd be 8 o'clock my time. Okay, 8 o'clock my time to watch a Super Bowl. That's all well and good, but I'm used to 4 o'clock in the afternoon with our own fans screaming. Not British fans that are wearing some other team's jerseys. They're not even the freaking Super Bowl. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want it. I don't know. Maybe I'll soften as things, get closer and they decide to want to do this. I don't know. I'm just not in favor of it. Just not in favor of it. And I can't say it enough. And I don't want to keep saying it because I'm just beating a dead horse. No pun intended. No pun intended on the Broncos. That was directed at the Indianapolis Colts. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I'm done with that topic. All right. Hopefully it doesn't get there and it never happens. But I guess if it does, obviously I have no control over it. Okay. Last topic, guys. Here we go. Thanks so much for being in the chat. Thanks so much for watching. Really greatly appreciate it. And you guys are the backbone for this show, and I really do Thank you guys for your support. Absolutely. All right. Green Bay at Denver. This coming Sunday, it's the Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos. Here it is. The Packers come into Denver this Sunday as a 1-point favorite with a 2-3 record, while Denver sits at 1-5. All right. Does Green Bay deserve to be favored by 1? Why not? They have a better record. Yeah, albeit just by 1 game, but hey, they got a better record. What are you going to do? What I hope happens is that the Broncos win this game somehow. I mean, Love is, he's a decent quarterback. He's not outstanding, but he's decent. The Denver Broncos, they just need to find a way to score points. 8 points last week against Kansas City is not going to get it done. And the Broncos haven't scored that many points consistently. I mean, sure, they got 20 against Miami, but they got blown out by 50 points, 70-20. I mean, they're just, they beat the Bears, but they had to come from behind big time. So like I mentioned before, this Broncos team is not a 60-minute team. It's a 30-minute team, meaning that they're only good half of the game. The defense screws it all up against the Bears, and the Broncos come back in the second half and pull it out and win it. That's because the second half belonged to the offense, a 30-minute game. They're not a full 60-minute team. They don't play a full 60-minute game. So if the offense is not doing well, like against Kansas City, the defense held them in the game to a possible chance to win it until the late field goal, which iced it for the Chiefs. The Broncos have had chances. They had chances against the Raiders in opening day, losing 17-16 by 1 point again. Same score we lost last year in opening day against Seattle. That's what I'm saying. We're not a full 60-minute team. And so I don't know what we're going to get from this Bronco team at home against Green Bay. I have no idea what we're going to get. Are we going to finally get a full 60-minute team on the field? I wouldn't count on it. I'm not betting my bottom dollar on it, especially with the topics in the segments that I talked about earlier with Sean Payton look like he's silently, throwing in the towel. I'm just saying, I don't know what team we're going to get. Are we going to get a team that comes out and, guns blazing on offense like we did against Washington, only to have the defense give it away in the second half? Or are we going to come out like we did against the Bears where the defense looks like garbage and then the offense rescues the defense and the Broncos win their only game? Or is it possible that the Broncos come out on offense like they did against Washington and come out on defense like they did against Kansas City? Is that a possibility? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue because I don't know. I don't know. I still don't know what identity this Broncos team has. The only identity that I see that they have is a complete derailment. Completely derailment. Everybody's falling off the tracks. All the offense is falling off the tracks. The defense is falling off the tracks. Special teams, coaching's falling off the tracks. Quarterback, general manager, head coach, they're all falling off the track. The only thing that's left is George Payton, and he's the one in the engine because he's a GM. He's the only one running the thing, and the thing ain't going anywhere because everybody's falling off. That's how I see it, guys. I don't know what team we're going to see. But I will tell you this. This is what I have a feeling at. All right. Is Denver, Denver is 0 for Colorado at home this season. The only win was in Chicago. Like I said, the only win is in Chicago. Final score, I have it this way. I have the final score being 17-14. Broncos beat the Packers. That's what I have. Hopefully I'm correct. And I don't want to see another loss. I dang sure don't want to see a loss against the Packers. I can't stand the Packers. They're in the same division as my NFC favorite team, the Vikings. I don't want the Packers to win anything. I've never liked them. Never, ever liked them when they had Bart Starr. Well, they did have Bart Starr, but I was too young to really care. I didn't like it when they had Brett Favre, especially when you can't even pronounce your name the way it's spelled. Favre is Favre, not Favre. Say it correctly, Brett. My gosh, anybody can't pronounce their last name correctly, it's got issues. It's Brett Favre. Anyways, and I dang sure didn't like Aaron Rodgers, still don't like him. So I can't stand the Packers. We better beat the Packers at home, just like we did in Super Bowl 32. So I can't stand them. In any case, that's what I have the score at. Broncos 17, Green Bay 14. Denver finally gets the first home win for Sean Payton in Denver this coming Sunday, and the second win of the season. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. For all of those of you in the chat, thank you so much for your comments, for your participation, for your support, as always. Greatly, greatly appreciate it, guys. Thanks again. You guys are the backbone of the show. You know it, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, you know that we got shows up and down the week, Monday through Friday, and game day on Sunday, Thursday, or Monday, depending on when Denver's playing. And then until Sunday, this coming Sunday, we got the Bronco neighborhood. It's going to be myself, Madungus Creevy. We're going to be doing the show live. It's going to be the Bronco neighborhood with the Packers and the Denver Broncos, hopefully a Bronco win. All the other shows, guys, you know what they are, Monday through Friday. Check out whichever one you want. Check out all of them. Hopefully you enjoy all of them for different reasons. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Okay, guys, till Sunday, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Friday and the rest of your weekend. We will see you on Sunday for the Broncos, hopefully getting a win over the Green Bay Packers. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go, go, go.